You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com. You wanted it. You got it. A radio program that helps teach you options trading inside and out, basic to complex. This is Options Boot Camp. Whether you want to learn how to protect your portfolio, generate income, or even become a master of volatility, your Options Boot Camp drill instructors, Mark Longo and Dan Passarelli, will break it all down for you. Old trading walks into a bar. New trading raises it. That's Tasty Trade. Keep focused with news feeds that matter. See opportunity differently in analysis mode. Chart your heart out with over 300 indicators. Plus, you can get low pricing, lots of education, and a support team that really gets how traders trade. It's no wonder Investopedia named Tasty Trade the best broker for options in 2024. Genius loves company. Go to tastytrade.com/podcasts and see for yourself. Tasty Trade Incorporated is a registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA, NFA, and SIPC. Fall in boot. It's time to get into peak options trading shape. It's time for Options Boot Camp.
All right, everybody. That music means we are back. It is time once again for the program known around the globe as OBC. My name, of course, Mark Longo from theoptionsinsider.com, as well as from the network upon which all of you folks are binging. Just a reminder here, our final reminder of 2025. If you haven't subscribed to the full network yet, man, what are you waiting for? Over a dozen other shows coming at you, carving up the options world in just about every way you can imagine. So make sure wherever you get your favorite podcasts, make sure you subscribe to the full Options Insider Radio Network. And then, of course, the clock is ticking to get your name in the hat for the December Pro Trading Crate. Get access to the upcoming Vol Deathmatch 2.0, Pro Q&As, Options Oddities, live streams. You'll be hearing this live right now if you're hanging out on the Pro. Theoptionsinsider.com/pro is the place to go to learn more as we learn who's joining us on this final Options Boot Camp for the mad, the insane, the unprecedented. Pick your adjective, and they pretty much apply unless you say boring or easily predictable, in which case those do not apply to 2025. They might apply, though, to our buddy here, the black-hatted one himself, a.k.a. Dan Vasco da Gama Passarelli III, Esquire. We've moved into the realm of Portuguese explorers. Mr. Passarelli, how go things? How goes your quest just to explore out of Lisbon?
Pretty good. I've been meaning to get off the Iberian Peninsula for a while now.
Yeah, that Portuguese food, not my favorite. You know, Spanish food, I can go a little bit of tapas. Pork and clams and like blood sausage, not my thing, sir. I had authentic blood sausage in Portugal. It was what you think blood sausage would be, and about as appetizing as you think blood sausage would be. That's one of my enduring memories of Portuguese cuisine, was blood sausage. Just good stuff. But Mr. P, how go things in the land of all things MTM as we roll into the end of the year, sir?
Oh, it's pretty swell, man. It is pretty swell. It has been quite a year. It really has.
Well, it has been quite a year, sir. So you know what? I think with that said, we'll go into a very special end of the year extravaganza. And what better way to celebrate the mad year that was 2025, Dan, than by looking back on the top 10 episodes of 2025. So strap in, listeners. We're going to do just that right now. All right, everybody, welcome to our top 10, if you will. What did you folks really enjoy in 2025? Let me start this, Dan, by saying we're just focusing on the episodes that we released from this year. Every year, the archives of this show continue to generate a lot of interest. Episodes 1 through 5, Dan, always bangers every year out here. People love going back to, I think it was 2012, something along those lines, and going episodes 1 through 5 are always popular. So we're not including them in this tally, Dan. We're just focusing. Maybe someday we'll have to do a top of all time. But I have a feeling 1 through 10 are going to perform very strongly in that all-time list. But we're just focusing on this year. So Dan, I gave you a little bit of warning, a little bit of preparation, because I know you require that sometimes when you have to put on your guessing pants. Sometimes they shrink in the wash. You got to stretch them out a little bit. So here we are. I know we did a lot of episodes this year, and I know you did a lot of day drinking through them, so maybe your memory of all of them may not be the best. But if you had to say right now, certain episodes that stand out to you that you think might make it onto the list, have at it, sir.
Man, boy, oh boy, I feel like we did one on there were a few that kind of stand out. The one about historic, what was that one? I don't know. There's a lot of, what do you got on the list, Mark? I don't know.
Well, I can't reveal it because I know the list, so that would be cheating. Yeah. That would be cheating for me out here.
Mean, it seems like seems like we talk about just a lot of good stuff on every episode, but
I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a direction.
All right.
Because sometimes episodes also coincide with monumental events or times in the market. So sometimes that drives a little bit of action, a little bit of interest. Maybe that will cue you in. What are a few times this year that you think an episode might stand out and make it onto the top 10?
Well, of course, for sure, on the April big drop,
there you go. Now you're thinking like the Vasco da Gama of old, sir. There we go. Number 10 on our list this year, Dan. Episode 333, entitled appropriately enough, Historic Times in the Options Market, came out on April 9th of 2025 of this year. I love to read we do our own synopsises, and sometimes, the platforms have an AI synopsis as well, which is always fun to me to see what AI thinks we're talking about. Dan, but we talked about unprecedented market volatility driven by major market moves and how traders can navigate these challenging conditions. The hosts discuss various strategies, Dan, including selling puts, trading volatility products like VXX, UVXY, and SVXY. Yes, a lot of fun to be had there, and how to avoid missing out on upside moves during tumultuous times. They also delve into topics such as historical market movements, the effectiveness of skip strike versus traditional flies. You packed a lot of living into this show, Dan. And listener questions on trading strategies. Oh yeah, and the recent, if that wasn't enough, Dan, if there wasn't enough craziness going on with the whole April 2nd tariff day or Liberation Day or whatever, recent IPO craziness with Newsmax. Remember that? That was also that episode.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
You blanked it out in your day drinking. It's all gone. Yeah. But yeah, that was a hot one. I think we had a listener question about that, or maybe as people were asking, hey, because it was going crazy and the IPO was going nuts, and there was a lot of interest in it around. So there was a lot going on that week of April 2nd to 9th. Was a hot week, Dan.
Yeah. That was a crazy week this year, man. That was nuts.
By the way, according to AI, key insights on managing risk and leveraging volatility products are shared emphasizing the importance of adaptability and calculated approaches in trading. You know, Dan, I gotta say we're pretty good. That's all. AI likes us.
Just ask us. We'll tell you.
All right, so we got the April kind of that crazy week out of the way. Can you think of any other, could be like an option strategy we talked about this year you think really particularly resonated, or maybe another time of the year that you think also drove a lot of folks to our door?
Well, we did spend some time on hedging strategies, did we not, Mark?
We did. And that would indeed be our number 9 episode for the year, Boot Camp 329, Dan, entitled appropriately enough, Hedging Strategies and Gamma Scalping Demystified. Now, you and I have touched on gamma scalping many times, but it's one of those, perennial topics. You can keep coming back to it because we keep getting questions about it, and we keep saying don't do it. But apparently people don't listen to us, Dan. They need us to tell them. They listen to us, but they don't listen, is what I'm saying. Is they listen to the show, we see the numbers, we thank all the people who download and listen, but then they don't act on it. They go out, they want to do it. Dan, they want to gamma scalp. Well, who are we to say that people can't gamma scalp, If you want to gamma scalp, have at it. Just, we've given you all the warnings by now. But we talked about listener questions related to options trading, Dan. There we go. Differences between institutional and retail portfolio hedging strategies, the relevance of liquidity when choosing options contracts, and the complexities of gamma scalping for retail traders. We did order types on this one too, OCO orders, and the challenges of trading in less liquid markets. It also features special segments on rolling options positions and the interaction with listeners via chat and email, Dan. I'm having almost as much fun looking at what AI thinks about our episodes.
It's funny, just looking back at the timeline here, that was March 12th, so we're like 3 weeks before the market just fell out of bed.
Yeah.
We were talking about hedging.
Well, people were obviously spooked even then. Liberation Day was kind of on the horizon. We knew this day was coming for a while. It's one of those known unknowns, Dan. So people were prepping for it. So it makes some sense that a few weeks before D-Day, folks would want to talk about hedging, putting some puts in their back pocket. So that one makes a certain amount of sense. That's number 9, listeners. We keep climbing. To number 8, Dan. I don't know if you'll guess this one, but, guess a strategy that you think folks might like, and maybe you'll get lucky.
Well, I'll tell you what strategy I like. This has really become my year for it, is covered calls.
It's almost like you're doing a book related to that and have like a blog, and you're even cheating on me with like your own podcast about it. It's we won't go there. It's a lot of pain. We've had to go to couples therapy, Dan and I, this year, listeners. It's been brutal. But yes, number 8, Dan, episode 325, entitled appropriately enough, An Options Snow Day. It was a very snowy day here in February of this year, and we decided to talk about adjusting covered calls, because what else do you do, Dan? When you're stuck at home, you're sipping your hot cocoa, you're sitting by a warm fire. What else do people talk about in those environments? But they always talk about, how do you adjust your covered calls? Well, I go 3% out of the money. I go straight at them. Isn't that what folks normally do, Dan, when they're sitting around a warm fire with hot cocoa, or am I just a crazy person?
Could be both. Either that or talk about, cute puppy videos that show up on Instagram.
Yes, I will do all of those things. Sometimes in the same sentence, Dan. It's very confusing for the listeners. But to be talked about also on that episode wasn't enough, Dan, just covered calls. We talked about selling puts when you don't actually want the stock. So I would say the reality for 98% of the listeners out there, right? They say they want the stock. In reality, they want that juicy juice, right? The stock is a necessary evil to them, but they don't want the stock. Also strategies, that we anticipated using more in 2025, which is kind of interesting. I'll have to go back and listen specifically to the episode and see exactly what we said we thought we were going to use more. What to do with calendars if the underlying moves too soon. This was kind of an interesting one. Obviously with calendars, typically you want the thing to sit around a little bit and then do your business. And what happens when it doesn't happen, it goes the other way. Or trading iron condors and much more, Dan. So another jam-packed episode, if I do say so myself, sir.
Yeah, gosh, man, we talked about all that stuff in there. How do we cram so many topics into a single
I
episode?
don't know. I think we're pretty good at this thing by now, Dan. You know, we pack a lot of living into every episode. That's why the folks keep coming back, Dan. It's not just for our pretty faces and or voices. It's also because we pack a lot of living in for the folks every week. Let's keep climbing, Dan, all the way to number 7. I'll give you a hint. It's an even number now. Episode 350. Halfway between 300 and 400, Dan. What did we talk about on episode 350? Or maybe when did that come? What time of year?
Well, 350, because we're on what are we on now? Hold on a second now. We're on, well, I don't know what episode we're on. That had to be in the summer, right?
It did. We just did 369, and we have a couple. So with this and another one in the can, we'll be at pretty much 371. Looks like by the end of the year. So that was 350, Dan. Which yes, did come in August of this year.
Oh yeah, that tracks. That tracks. What did we? Okay, so August. What did we talk about in August? Oh. Was that the one where we talked about dividends?
It is indeed, sir. See, the day drinking hasn't killed all the brain cells. We talked about crazy premium harvesting and capturing mysterious dividends. This was from August 6th of this year, listeners. We had a listener question, Dan, about a put calendar in J&J, and it's associated risk. Another listener had a covered call. We talked about ultra premium harvesting. I think that's right. He had it was like a super aggressive covered call, but I think at the end of the day, it was really just selling the covered call, the stock drops, and then you close it and roll it down more to capture more. I think that's what it was. As my memory, I don't do the day drinking, so my memory hopefully is pretty good. We also answered inquiries on the use case and risks involved in trading inverse vol products like SVXY, Dan, and discussed the optimal products and strategies for trading precious metals like gold and silver. Oh, we also someone wanted to come and see the studio and asked about local meetups. We talked about that on that one as well. So again, Dan, a lot of living. Episode 350. Absolutely wild here. We got to get going. We're only at number 7. I'm having too much fun with this list. I won't make you guess anymore. I'll just reveal it for you because it's kind of hard to guess these. Number 6. We're going back to that wild April timeframe, Dan, but about a week and change later. We're going to episode 334, came out April 16th, Dan. And we talked about iron condors, futures options, and Washington skullduggery. I think the latter is what brought the kids to the yard on that one, Dan. So yeah, because you don't think, all things are wild. Futures options and iron condors don't necessarily immediately leap to mind. We talked about recent market activities. We had a listener question about an unusual options trade in Apache Corp before a big move. I remember that one now. Yes, we had someone write in about Apache. We're called, AI refers to us as the duo. They say, the duo also delves into the intricacies of trading iron condors and the unique challenges and differences when trading futures options compared to equity options. We aimed to enhance listeners' understanding and trading strategies in the volatile and complex options market, Dan. So I think we're a pretty impressive duo. Dare I say it, a dynamic duo, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, if ChatGPT says it's true, it is.
It has to be true. So that means we need to put out a cover art for this episode where I will be in my full Batman regalia and you could be in your Robin gear. How about that?
I thought you wore the Catwoman costume.
Now, the question is, which Robin are you? There's like 17 Robins. Are you the one that got beaten to death with a pipe? Or there's a whole bunch. It gets pretty crazy pretty quick over there in the Robin Corp. Are you just the old, the old TV show 60s? What was his name? Ward.
Oh yeah.
Are you him? Ward. Yes. Yeah. Are you him? Just living in a guy's house. Just nothing weird about that at all.
No.
2 carefree dudes just living in a house together. We could do a whole episode on that, Dan. Instead, we'll keep climbing, talking about skullduggery, Dan. Let's keep climbing up to episode 5, Dan. So we're getting into the top 5 for the year now. This is episode 341. Options are cool again, Dan. They never really went out of fashion. Look at the volume numbers in this year. Options are cooler than they've ever been. But in particular, Dan, on June 4th of this year, they were cool again. And on that episode, we talked about getting into what I was just referring to, the volume explosion and the role of retail traders in that. We also discussed recent volume statistics from our friends over there at OCC, showcasing substantial growth in April and May. April and May were bangers. I think second half of the year, and of course Q4 here is going to say hold my beer for those, because I mean, the Flow Master, I was just talking with him last week, Mr. Dan, and he's saying he's trying to pinpoint the exact moment when the 15 billionth contract trades this year, because he's quite certain it will trade this year. And he wants to, I joked with him as you should try to trade it. Obviously, it's impossible to do that.
Yeah.
But he's going to try to pinpoint who trades it and maybe give them like an award or something. But just think about that. Just think about that out loud for a second, what I just said, Dan. 15 billion contracts, and the year is not even technically over yet. Just, you know, people who write in like, why are you guys so interested in the volume? You know, pre-pandemic, we were talking 4. You know, if things got wild, we were getting up to like, you know, maybe threatening 7. And that was right into the beginning of the pandemic. We're like, okay, it's never going to get crazier than that. When it hit 10 billion, we're like, okay, you know, this is insanity now. It's got to come back to earth. And instead, Dan, no, it's up 50% from there. So the moral of the story, Dan, as we say on episode 341, options are indeed cool again. We talked about 0DTE on that one as well in the mag stocks. Listeners were divided on their enthusiasm for them, Dan. So interesting. You also shared your insights on calendars and verticals. How nice of you. We talked about inverse vol again. We had a lot of inverse vol questions this year. Oh, we also gave away, I love the AI. I love AI. A special highlight includes the recognition of listener loyalty by rewarding Madam Gigi in their monthly giveaway. You gave away the pro trading crate on that episode to Madam Gigi. I just love the way AI writes it. It just puts a smile on my face, Dan. Let's keep climbing, Dan. Oh, we're going all the way back. You know, end of year, beginning of year episodes are always pretty hot, and that is the case again this year. Our number 4 episode for the year, Dan, was episode 320. The trends that rocked the options market in 2024 from, appropriately enough, January 8th of this year, Dan. So we came out of the gate with a banger this year, Dan. We talked about your highs and lows in VIX for the year, overall options volume trends. Should you ever hedge your long-term stock positions? Should an implied vol be the same when looking at the calls and puts for the same strike? And how do you find what % move the market is pricing in for the underlying using options prices? Dan, we packed all that in to the kickoff episode. Man, no wonder why I'm so tired at the end of the year. We packed a lot of living in this year, sir.
Yeah, and you know, like those are some of the topics that I just love to talk about too. That was a fun one. That was a super fun one.
Clearly the folks responded, Dan. It is number 4, but is not enough to beat number 3, Dan. What trumped it? Pun intended here. Let's see. Let's go all the way out to March, Dan. So we're going back to March 5th to be precise. Episode 328, entitled "Riding the Trading Wave," and you'll like this, Dan. Mastering covered calls. Covered calls coming in hot this year, Dan. On the content side, we talk once again about the explosive growth in options trading, single name equity options, 0-day trading, and 0-day options, I should say, pandemic volume. This was the beginning of the month, so I think we were talking about February volume numbers, which were explosive. We talked about options trading metrics and covered calls, cash secured puts, and market volatility influenced by such economic events, Dan, as tariffs. In addition, we also discuss listener questions on market trends, 24-hour trading, and this was the hot time of the strategic crypto reserve, Dan. Remember those fun days?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that until you reminded me now.
Our listeners were lukewarm on it. The market was lukewarm on it, but apparently it drove a lot of flow, Dan, so we like it for the show.
Yeah, good for the show. I guess U.S. probably lost half the money they put into that by now, but you know, that's all right.
All right, number 2, Dan, the top 2. Any guesses what could make it into the top 2 for the year? Particular strategies, particular topics, particular products, or you could go back to time frames as well. That could play a role in one of these.
You know, one thing that we do on shows regularly, you know, a couple times a year, is we'll do something on myths of something. Could that be what we're going here for?
It's almost like you read my mind, sir. Episode 332, covered call myths, gamma struggles, and wild car battles. You know, our naming conventions, Dan, they're just chef's kiss. You know, we really make these episodes sing with our titles. By the way, the date this was released might also have a little bit to do with it, Dan, not just a sexy title. This came out, I said before, April 9th, we did our one for that time. This actually came out the week before on April 2nd. So this was a Liberation Day episode, Dan. So wow. The world was literally melting down around our ears in the market when this episode came out. Folks obviously reaching for a lifeline, and they reached all the way to episode 332, Dan, where we talked about gamma and options trading, kind of an important concept on that day in particular, dispelling common myths around covered calls. Oh yeah, I think I regaled folks with my story of buying a car on actually Liberation Day.
Oh yeah,
which was right. Insane. I thought I was going to get into about 5 different fights just to buy the car. Tax implications, a lot of fun stuff. Oh, as AI says, Dan, this episode is rich in practical advice for both novice and experienced option. Dude, AI loves us, Dan. We're huge with AI. All right, Dan, we've come to it. The great moment of our time. If there's a drum roll, we'll have our producers cut it in now here after the fact. What do you think topped our list of the #1 episode that we released in 2025, sir?
It's got to be covered calls again, right?
You might think so, but no. We are going to mid to late summer, actually, July 30th. Not usually a hot time for the options market or for volume or for interest in either of those things. But not for us, Dan. That's when our #1 episode of the year came out. It was episode 349, and I think maybe the subject matter had a little bit to do with it. We said, forget 0 DTE, Dan. Which is actually interesting when you think about it, because it wasn't about 0 DTE. We said, forget 0 DTE. We went the complete polar opposite. What is the complete opposite of 0 day? How about leaps, Dan? Yes, our #1 episode of 2025 was all about leaps, aka long-term equity anticipation securities, Dan. Their strategic use, particularly in stock substitution strategies. Would you have ever guessed that, sir, in a million years?
No, like I'm actually kind of shocked because I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you the truth. I kind of think of leaps as being pretty boring, you know?
But you know, not when we talk about them. We jazz them up. We turn them up to 11. And clearly the folks responded, Dan. We talked about the fundamentals of leaps, their sensitivity, it's easy for me to say, their sensitivity to Vega as opposed to gamma, how they're more capital efficient than buying stock outright if you do the stock substitution. We use the synthetic covered call or poor man's covered call. So this gets back to your covered call hypothesis as well, Dan. There is a covered call overlay here. We also highlight the need for diligent management of these trades, Dan, to avoid unwanted outcomes, like the forced exercise of the option. So there you go, Dan. When we kicked off this mad, insane year back in January, did you ever think, you know, an episode about leaps from the quiet midsummer period is going to take the top spot, sir?
No, not in my wildest fantasies. Yeah. I would never guess that. Never.
Wild stuff. That's why we crunch the numbers here, listeners, which is always fun. Hope you had a fun time on the show this year. But you know what? We're not done yet. We were trying to guess what our #1 episode for the year was. Now it's time for all of us to guess, what does Dan have on the brain for his final market taker question of the week for 2025?
And now, it's the moment you've been waiting for. It's time for the Market Taker Question of the Week.
All right, Dan, before we get there, it's like our chat is surprised. They're saying leaps, wow, and color me shocked. So they're surprised, Dan, that leaps took the top spot. But again, that's why we crunch the numbers, listeners. At the end of the day, the numbers don't lie. And you folks, maybe you didn't tell anybody. Maybe you secretly downloaded it, but whatever the case, you all came to the dance for leaps this year, Mr. Dan. And now we've all come for your final question of the week. What you got for us, sir?
All right. So here is something people ask about. What is the long-term average of the VIX? And I thought that that would be an interesting one to throw out here for our last episode of the year. Sitting with, the VIX towards the bottom of the spectrum, at least when we're recording this.
Yeah, VIX cash hitting a 13 handle, Dan. And finally, December came. It came late, but it came, Dan, and it came hard.
That's crazy, right? Well, so the number that gets tossed around a lot is 16 as the long-term average. If that's changed, I doubt that that's changed since I last had somebody who tracks this stuff tell me that. But it can be a little bit skewed because when we get days like, and I'm just looking at a chart of it in front of me here, when we get days like in April around the Liberation Day thing, you get this big massive spike up to the 50s or 60s. And so that adds some skew. Like when you get some of those spikes or some of those 1 week periods, that adds a layer of fat on top of that thing. So, I mean, really, the long-term average is probably a smidge lower if you take out all the anomalies. But, well, I don't know. I don't know what we've got planned for next year, but I guess we should save our thoughts for what might happen next year with volatility and everything for our first episode of 2026, you think?
I think we could definitely give our outlooks on our first episode of the year. Yeah, we kind of look ahead, what we think is going to be on the docket out there, Mr. Danny. You're right. That is a hotly contentious thing. There's a lot of marketing that goes around trying to push, SIBO talks about 20, and that's their number they always put out there, which I get it. It's a fun, psychologically important level. It's easy to push, easy for people to wrap their heads around. It's not really true, but it does sound good. And, when VIX is low like it is now, 20 is good because people want to buy calls. And on the flip side, when things get a little spicy, they might want to load up on some downside puts. So 20 keeps them in the game no matter what's going on, Dan. So I could see why they've gotten behind that level, even if from a purely statistical perspective, it is not accurate, Dan. Speaking of accuracy, before we get out of here for this year, Dan, which is wild to say, let's pay off a few of our questions we've asked the folks and get your thoughts on our final ones. We might have, Dan, dare I say it, we might have the most contentious question of the week we've ever asked going on right now in this final week of the year. So stay tuned, listeners. But first, Dan, we asked the folks on the show last week. We said quite simply, is winter coming for crypto? Are the White Walkers on the horizon, or is this sell-off overdone, Dan? And almost 2/3 of our audience, Dan, 63.6%, said stick a fork in it, it's done, winter is coming. 36.4% saying they want to buy the dip, Dan. What are your thoughts? Surprised?
I'm not surprised. It's just, I'm one of those folks who just, I've gotten involved with crypto in the past, but I don't know. I'm sitting it out myself. I'm just sitting it out. At some point in the future, I might get back in, but I think it's going to require some real use cases of utility of actual certain coins, which is not Bitcoin, but Ether or, something like that. No, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all.
How dare you say Bitcoin has no use, sir? That its entire value is tied up in the greater fool theory. How dare you say such things? Or how dare I put such words in your mouth, sir? But we also asked folks last week about silver. I'm not sure if you heard, Dan, but silver's been doing kind of good. We said it's on a historic run, but can it continue in 2026? If they had to buy an at-the-money put or call on SLV, Dan, expiring at the end of next year, which way are they going? And a little over half, 52% of our audience said they want to buy that call, Dan. They think silver is going to be north of a 60 handle by the end of next year, which is kind of wild. Then we had a tie for second, around 24% each for the put, or folks just saying, yeah, I'm out of metal. So if you add those two together, it's pretty much close to 50-50, Dan. Let's see.
I'm buying calls. I think it's going to be, it's going to keep going. Gold and silver. Just keep cranking.
Clearly, you and our audience alike, sir. And then this week, Dan, let's just get to it now. I mentioned it. It is by far the most contentious, the most divisive question of the week. Are you ready, Dan? Can you handle it?
Let's do it.
All right. We said, hey, it's a shortened stub holiday trading week as we are recording this, listeners. We said, let's have a little fun on this shortened holiday week. Quite simply, Dan, what is your favorite Christmas movie? We also said write-ins are welcome, but the canonical 4 that we selected for our Twitter poll, Dan: Christmas Story, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, It's a Wonderful Life, and Elf. And we've had a bunch of write-ins already, so I'm curious, Dan, is your choice one of those 4, or do you have a write-in? And then B, which way do you think our audience is going?
Those are some great ones. I am a sucker for all those animation movies. I just loved them. Our family went to the Music Box Theater on Saturday to see It's a Wonderful Life, which they play there once a year. They do White Christmas too, but White Christmas. So It's a Wonderful Life is a movie that our family watches every single year. This year we made a big outing out of it. And I'm going to tell you something. I got to go with that one. I got to go with It's a Wonderful Life. Jimmy Stewart.
You know, Dan, it's like you got your finger on the pulse right now. 42.1% agree with you. It's a Wonderful Life. Elf putting up quite the fight. It was a close number 2. Now it's actually, as we talk, it just ticked. It's exactly tied with A Christmas Story. Christmas Story making a resurgence, Dan. 21.1% each. 15.8% bringing up the rear right now for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I don't think you can go wrong with any of those. For my money, I'm probably going to go Christmas Story because that one's just... That's awesome. That movie is awesome. Everything about that movie is awesome. Everything about it is classic. I could go for a little Elf. If Elf pops on the TV right now and it's, the Santa Claus scene, or, they sit on a throne of lies, or the snowball fight scene, yeah, I'm going to watch that. Probably for me, Wonderful Life might be on the bottom of the list. It just doesn't really resonate for me the way it does. I know for a lot of people out there. But Dan, we've had a lot of write-ins. We had a write-ins for The Grinch. Now, weirdly enough, not the iconic animated one, which I might accept, but the live-action one with Jim Carrey. That one to me is an abomination, but who am I? Who am I to judge such things? Oh, people mentioned Die Hard in our chat and on the Twitter poll. Die Hard, very much a Christmas movie, Dan. People forget about that. A little bit of a violent one. Don't show the kids. But got some language in that one as well. But a classic Christmas film. This one just brings a smile to my face. We had write-ins for Bad Santa. That's a ridiculous movie.
Oh my God. I got to tell you this. This is like more than a decade ago. Our kids were little. Oh my gosh. So it was probably 2 decades ago. But my wife's aunt, like great aunt who raised her, it was staying with us. And, it's around the holidays. We're sitting around. It's a Sunday. We're like, oh, let's watch a movie. Oh, we'll watch a Christmas movie. And Kathleen's like, oh, Bad Santa. That sounds funny. I'm like, hey.
Did you watch it with the kids? Oh, no.
And yeah, with the kids.
Oh, no.
With her aunt, who's like, she's like 80 at the time.
Hopefully about 10 minutes in, you kind of got the gist. And you're like, maybe let's put on It's a Wonderful Life instead.
It was a little weird, but still good family fun.
I will say I have a story of that one as well. I saw it in theaters, and I thought the movie was fine. It didn't really crack me up, but the person I saw it with, I've never seen anyone laugh as hard in my life at a film as this person at Bad Santa in particular. They were literally falling off their seat onto the ground, clutching their stomach in just spasms so hard that I was laughing at them more than the movie. So when I think of this movie, I think of that person just losing their minds. I wish I could laugh that hard at a movie. It struck them for whatever reason, that movie. So there you go, write-ins for Bad Santa. But Dan, the one... Christmas Vacation, another good one. People have written in. But the one we seem to have gotten the most vitriol on for not including in our canonical 4, Dan, is Home Alone. What do you think about that?
Yeah, really?
Yeah, that was my thought as well. It's a fun movie. I don't think of it necessarily as a pure Christmas. It is, obviously, but yeah, it didn't strike me as a glaring omission. But some folks, maybe the ones who think the Jim Carrey Christmas movie, Jim Carrey Grinch movie is a good Christmas movie, maybe those folks are also disgusted that we left off Home Alone. Fun movie, don't get me wrong. I love Home Alone, but I don't know if it makes the canonical 4. But that's what makes this so divisive, Dan. We might have to expand this. We have like a full, one of those surveys you can do where people list all that and people really fight it out, because this one's getting heated, Dan. All right, Mr. Dan, that music means that's the end of our heat for 2025. Man, what a hot year, as evidenced by that top 10, Dan. And then, of course, all of you who keep coming, starting from episode 1. We love you all as well. There's like 2 contingents, Dan. There's the complete newcomers, and then there's the folks who've been with us for a while, and they kind of digest the new stuff. And then the newcomers become the OGs after a while, and it's a fun, virtuous cycle, Dan.
Student becomes the master.
Yes, indeed. It's over. I have the high ground, Anakin. But not that classic Christmas film right there. It's very holiday themed. Slaughtering the guy with the lightsaber. It's all kinds of good holiday messages there. But Mr. Dan, if folks are bored over the holidays or New Year's, and perhaps they're saying, I'm sick of dealing with my family, I'm sick of watching It's a Wonderful Life on reruns, maybe they want to get a little income knowledge in their brains. Where should they go? What should they do?
Well, you want income knowledge? Read my Substack. I just did a 2-part series on my thoughts on the AI bubble, and that is wealth building with options on Substack. So just go to Substack, search wealth building with options, and there you go. Bob's your uncle.
And the folks, if they're looking forward to a little bit of maybe a stocking stuffer for next year's Christmas, give us a little bit of an update on the date for your forthcoming book, perhaps with a blurb by some really cool guy on the cover.
It is coming. April 28th. Tick, tick, tick. I've got to go through all the copy edits on Christmas here, basically. So yeah, April 28th, it's out.
Interesting timing. You think they would know if a financial book, people are out of money, it's after tax day? maybe have it come out of, or maybe they're sitting on refunds. That could be too. There could be some of that. So save your tax refund, listeners, and spend it on Dan's book when it comes out a few weeks after tax day, especially if you want to just go to the store and just check out the sweet blurb. I get it. That's probably the most compelling aspect of it. But if you also like Dan, you want to buy his book, have at it. It's coming out, so save a little bit of that refund for Dan's book coming out next year. Yet another thing to look forward to, Dan, in 2020. I keep saying 2025. 2026. It sounds like such a futuristic date, does it not?
I know. I mean, geez, Louise, it was 2024 a week ago.
You wanna feel bad? Well, I just finished watching all the Back to the Futures again with my son. He never watched the last 2, and episode 2, which was this epic futuristic thing, was 2015. Flying cars, the holograms, the hoverboards. Spoiler alert, Dan, we have none of that.
What about the jetpacks?
Yeah, none of that. None of that stuff. The clothes that like adjust to you. None of that cool stuff, Dan. What the hell? They were a little optimistic. They thought 30 years in the future we're going to have all this awesome stuff. Maybe next year, Dan. Maybe next year is the year when it all comes to pass, including the flying DeLoreans. But that is going to do it for us on OBC this year. I want to thank all of you who joined us throughout the year, whether you're some of the newcomers who come in from episode 1 and start climbing all the way through, or you're some of our OGs who've been around for a little bit. Maybe you joined us this year somewhere along the way and you're having a good time. You stuck with the party. Either way, we appreciate all of you out there. We literally could not do it without you folks. If you're looking for a little something else to do during the holidays, make sure you check out the Pro. TheOptionsInsider.com/pro is the place to go to learn more. Makes a fun little holiday gift you can stick. If you're thinking you're talking to your cousin, at the holiday table and you don't like what they're saying about options, stick them in the Pro. Maybe it'll set them straight out there, listeners. Either way, that's going to do it for us on OBC, but not done on the network, not by a long shot. We'll be back with our usual array of content throughout the rest of this shortened holiday week until we're back again next year, listeners. Another episode of Options Boot Camp. Stay safe out there, everybody.
Old Trading walks into a bar. New trading raises it. That's Tasty Trade. Keep focused with news feeds that matter. See opportunity differently in analysis mode. Chart your heart out with over 300 indicators. Plus, you can get low pricing, lots of education, and a support team that really gets how traders trade. It's no wonder Investopedia named Tasty Trade the best broker for options in 2024. Genius loves company. Go to tastytrade.com/podcasts and see for yourself. Tasty Trade Incorporated is a registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA, NFA, and SIPC. You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com.